just the cats. We've got a dog now as well. We've got a dog slightly over a year ago. He's a rescue dog, and he is genuinely the light of my life. He really is. He was in kennels for a year while his owner was ill, and then sadly his owner passed away, and he was moved across to the Dogs Trust, which is where we got him from. And I realised only recently that every now and again I'll say a sentence to him that I've definitely said before, just not to a dog. The first one I noticed, I was stroking him, and he was clearly enjoying it, and I said, "Ah, you like that, don't you?" And the most recent one was when I said to him, okay, you can lick me fingers when I've finished. Time we went to the Dogs Trust, he hadn't arrived yet. We didn't even know he existed at this point. We just went for a visit. And the branch we chose happened to be quite a new one. It was quite posh and shiny inside. And it was sort of glass enclosure after glass enclosure all the way along. And it felt really familiar to me, but I'd never been in any dog's home, let alone that specific one, so it was odd that it felt so familiar. Even when I got home, it was still niggling. And then I realised, I twigged. It's because I've been to Amsterdam. Huh. The first one was like a dog on its own, and then the second one was two dogs together, probably a bit more expensive. And then a dog playing with some toys. And then a dog sucking a cock. I mean, it was his own, but I think it still counts, yes? Yes. But I like to sing to the dog. I sing to the dog quite a lot. I went through a weird period of my life. I didn't really sing very much. My ex-husband didn't like my singing, and he used to put his hand up and say, "That sounds awful, please stop." So I just gradually didn't sing. And I realised it sounds like one of those sob stories that they do on The Voice or X Factor, doesn't it? Oh, and all of me nanas are dead, one of those. I mean, all of me nanas are dead, but I'm 41. That's sort of how it works. Unless you've got a family of slags. Some of you have. Sorry about that. Forgot where I was for a second. And, but about a year after that relationship ended, I caught myself singing in the shower, and I thought, that's back, that's nice, that's good. So I sing to the dog quite a lot. There's certain songs that I can't sing to him because he finds them very confusing. I'll give you an example. Now, I could see quite a lot of you, and it looks to me that a lot of you are my sort of age, maybe a little bit older, so you might know the song by Shawaddy Waddy, Under the Moon of Love. Do you know that? Okay. So this is a song that I used to sing to him, but there's a point that he gets very confused, and I'll show you what I mean. So this is him walking. So I go, let's go for a little walk under the moon of love. Let's sit, He's been so well trained by his previous owner that every time I said the word sit, he would stop dead in the middle of the walk and look at me like, what now? Other songs I can't sing, quite a few of them I can't sing. Walk this way, walk like an Egyptian. These boots are made for walking. Park life, that fucks them up. Stay Another Day by East 17, because you will not fucking move. And Michael Jackson's Heal the World, but mostly because he just finds it really touching. Well, we got some dog books. Never had a dog before, so we thought we should learn how to look after dogs, so we got some dog books. But the dog books don't teach you everything, they just tell you the basics. You have to learn quite a lot of it on your own. Some of the things we learned on our own include, like I knew that when you did a poo, I had to pick it up and bag it. I've just realised I mean that the other way around. I meant bag it and pick it up, clearly, that's what I meant. I knew that I had to bag it and pick it up. I've seen people do that in the park, I know how the world works. And I also knew that when I picked it up, it would smell. It's a shit, I'm not a fucking idiot. But what I was not prepared for was the heat. It was quite a mixed emotion for me, because half of me is dry retching at the warmth in my hand. And the other half is reminded what it's like when you get a pasty that's just right from Greg's. Second thing I didn't learn from a dog book is that if you're on your dog walk and you've got a full poo bag, so you haven't found a bin yet, you should always keep the full poo bag in the same hand as the dog lead. It's very important to have a spare hand at all times. I learnt this the hard way, walking along with a full poo bag in one hand, a dog lead in the other. And then my glasses started to slide down my nose. Nobody needs a turd to clunk off their cheek, do they? And the third thing I didn't learn from a dog book. I knew one of his jobs, one of his tasks, if you like, was to keep his bits and bobs nice and clean. You know, let's call it his gentleman's area. I knew that was one of his jobs, keep them nice and clean. I did not know how regularly he would do it, how thoroughly he would do it, or how fucking loudly he would do it. Until I got a dog, I had no idea what it sounds like when a cock's being sucked over there. He had a few accidents when we first got him. We think he'd forgotten some of his house training, and it's entirely expected, being in kennels for so long. So he had a few wheeze and poos in the house. We just cleaned them up as we were retraining him, not a big deal at all. And then one day I had a really horrible thought, and I said to my husband, what do we do? What do we do if he has diarrhea in the house? And my husband had a little think, and he said, sort of depends which room it is, because maybe we could just shut a door. I love the idea of people coming around going, I thought you had a spare room here. No, we've never had a spare room. That's just a big cupboard full of fucking shite. But the dog's tail, when we got him, was entirely bald. His tail was entirely bald. It looked like a rat's tail, and we didn't know why. Is it because he's a crossbreed and that's just what they're like? Or we were led to believe it could be quite stressful for dogs to be in kennels for that length of time. But 6 or 7 months later, it became apparent what it had been, because by then it had fully grown in. It looks like an excellent feather duster now. We made fur with love. Isn't that nice? I'm going to stop worrying so much about me tash now. Clearly, I'm just loved. My toes are really fucking loved.